I was at a writing workshop recently and I was listening to this woman speak, and I was so captivated by her because of what she was sharing and how fierce and unapologetic her writing was. And I immediately recognized that she was a survivor. And after the workshop, we started talking, and indeed told me that she had this very complicated history with her family, in particular her mother, and some of the things that she had survived with her. And we eventually got to the fact that, I had written a memoir, that I was an author, I'd written a memoir, and, she became very excited about that and was like, oh yeah, I want to do that too. And so I was like, oh, so you're writing a memoir yourself? And she immediately brushed it aside and said, oh no, I have to wait until she's dead. And and I've heard that before, obviously. And but her answer still startled me a bit because it was such a counterpoint to this powerful, seemingly unstoppable person that she was when she had shared this story. And I almost recognized it as she was living inside this prison that she didn't realize that she'd built. And yeah, it reminded me of something that I've learned in the years since publishing my memoir, Never Make a Sound, that the number one belief that's holding people back from telling their story is not that they don't know how to write the story or that they don't know what the story is, but it's that they don't believe that they're allowed to tell it. You know, they think that, they're waiting for some kind of permission to come in some form, like the form that this woman shed. And it's funny because they're oftentimes waiting for permission, even from the very people who hurt them. But what I've come to understand is that no one can give you permission to tell your story. It's something that you have to give yourself because, I understand that as writers, we have a tremendous amount of power, but telling the truth and causing harm are not the same thing. And I remember being very aware of that when I was writing my memoir. And what helped me was developing a personal code of ethics around my intention, perspective, and honesty. And that's what guided me through the process. And also realizing that the amazing thing that happens when we just allow ourselves to write freely and just tell our stories without waiting for permission, you start to see things that you didn't see before. We start to have a deeper understanding of our story, and our narrative becomes more nuanced, and we start to have more compassion even for ourselves. And we start to change and transform in the process of writing the story. So that's also the gift of the memoir. So you're not writing it, you're writing it to uncover the transformation behind the experience that you're writing about. And that's what I discovered in the process of writing my story. The act of writing it changed me even before it was published and out there in the world. So if you are holding a story that's burning bright and feels necessary, but you're also haven't even thought about the fact that you don't need permission. I want to let you know that you are allowed to tell your story. You are allowed to tell it. And the the transformation in the telling it might be the very thing that you've been searching for. And that's one of the reasons why I created this unique offering I have called Before the Aftermath. And it's a virtual space that I held to explore how to build self-trust as you tell your story and how to navigate the relational impact of telling your story. And it's a conversation that I wish I had had before I had written my book. Because what I've come to realize is that, telling your story is one thing, but living the truth, living with the aftermath of it is another thing. So if you have a story you're wanting to tell, consider this your permission slip and your invitation that you are allowed to tell it.